Good morning, Great Valley. My name is Paul Reader. I am the Director of Ministries here at Great Valley, and this is Keith Fink, our senior pastor. And what we kind of want to do is just take a minute, and it is the 1-year anniversary of the declaration that we are in a pandemic. And so I'm here with Keith, and I kind of wanted to ask him and maybe interview him a little on his thoughts. So Keith, I've been here 6 months. You've been here a little bit longer, but you've been here for the last year in pandemic. Offer us some of your thoughts and kind of reflections on that. What are you thinking about that?
Yeah, I mean, there would be a ton to say, and certainly recount, all of the woes and the troubles and the changes and the transitions. But I guess after a year, I'd rather not think about that. And I guess I'd say that my vantage point now is seeing signs of new life. We're in Lent, looking forward to Easter. And at Easter, we celebrate our Lord's resurrection. And we, announce this great new life that can be found in Him. And I say, well, isn't that interesting how that kind of is almost what I sense going on here at Great Valley. I sense that not only in the church year, the Lent to Easter, but also I love how creation kind of resounds and echoes that of, the cold, dark winter now springing forth into real life and spring ahead of us. But I also sense that even in the life of Great Valley, we may all kind of grumble about, the rate of change, but I love the idea that we're in this brand new sanctuary and suddenly groups are meeting in person again. And soon the welcome center and the hallways will spring forth into, I think, really beautiful, communicative things that will show people who we are. And all of that speaks about a newness of life. So quite frankly, I look ahead and I'm excited about what's coming. How about you, Paul? I mean, I get it. You've been here a shorter amount of time. You walked in the middle of the pandemic, not the greatest time to kind of like, hey, I'm here, but nobody's here, sort of thing. Where do you sense where we are and what it is that we should be about?
Good question. I think one of the biggest encouragements to me, kind of what I'm thinking about right now, and what I'm seeing that's been pretty exciting to me is, as I've gotten to know Great Valley, I've come to find out that we're actually a pretty diverse congregation. We have some folks that are, whether it's politically or with this virus, that are pretty different, coming from pretty different perspectives, and as we know, have pretty strong opinions. And at first, I think I didn't really know what to do with that, but I think one of the huge encouragements to me now, and one of the things that I'm seeing is, despite our diversity, there's a lot of unity over the central things, over love for each other, over the gospel, over good news, over a desire to see non-central things not be central, and see the central things like the gospel be the things that bring us together. And not only am I seeing that kind of as people converse, but I think one of the most exciting things to me was came to the service last week. It was packed out, which feels different than packed out during packed out during pandemic is different. But we were running out of seats, and what I saw was people from all over. Being willing to jump up and vacate their seat so that whoever it was that might be shown in could have a seat. And to me, that's more than just I'm excited about some theological thing, but I'm excited that it's the gospel being exposed. God's given us this opportunity during pandemic to see that faith here is real, love is real, and it's blossoming to life. It is, like you said, it's spring in action, resurrection life. So I kind of, to go back to you, as you think about Easter coming, pandemic, maybe kind of tapering off, hopefully, is there anything you'd want to say to us, the folks of Great Valley?
I mean, I think that sometimes the best perspective on what we are experiencing doesn't come till later. And so I guess my hope is that years from now, when we remember back, hey, do you remember those COVID days? That we would remember not, oh, yes, the woes that we had and all of the dissension and all of that. But I would hope that we would look back on this time and say, I think God was at work at Great Valley in shaping us, how we think, how we treat one another, and how in all of that we show forth Jesus. We live out the gospel for the world to see. I would hope years from now, as we look back at this time, that we'd say, that was the proving ground. That was the time where we actually demonstrated the rubber meets the road sort of deal. And I hope that that's kind of the way in which we kind of write that chapter of our history.
Well said. Awesome. Well, Great Valley, I just want to invite you this coming Sunday to come here to worship together. We're going to be starting off with an 8 o'clock service, which is going to be super early because of the time change. So I want to remind you of that. But it'll be, if you're able and willing, showing up at our 8 o'clock service would be an amazing opportunity for you to love your neighbor, to create space for new folks or different folks to have space in our service. And so I want to invite you to that.
And one more thing. You've heard from Paul and me. I want you to hear from one more person.
Let love be genuine, Paul Reader of fast towards good. Love one another, rally affection. Out to one another, showing honor. Do not be slothful and do fervent spirit, serve the Lord. Those in hope, be patient, tribulation. Be constant in prayer.